Tyler Catastrophe, a name that has unfortunately shown up on my For You page. And since I had to see it, so do you. Tyler is a trans man that proclaims to be an artist amongst other things. And Tyler has seemingly created parasocial relationships with two men that not only led to the creation of a GoFundMe and a love affair that only exists in Tyler's head. Let's get into it. Let's get into how Tyler became an artist.
I once totaled a Lexus with my body, and now I'm a professional freeloader. I do prefer the word artist, though. I actually make jewelry like this. I sell it, too. I also make stuff like this, and stuff like this, too. And I've worked hard enough and been lucky enough that this is my full time. I had orders from 48 states, 15 countries, 3 continents. I'm doing okay. But the funny thing is that this was never my endgame. I was actually a musician before I got hit. I sang, I wrote music, I played the trumpet, I was in a band, we were halfway through an album. Unfortunately, taking an SUV to the rib cage at 50 miles an hour kinda meant I couldn't sing anymore. I only started making the jewelry because I thought it might keep me sane. And it did, and it pays my bills, and it makes me happy. But over the past 5 years, while I came to terms with the fact that I'd probably be in pain for the rest of my life, with zero way to fix it, I saw all my friends touring, releasing albums, getting Emmy and Grammy nominees. I decided if there was a chance I could sing again, I would. And after years of back and forth and a lot of pain, my voice is even better than it used to be. And now I save $1 from every order in the hopes that I can finally buy back all the music equipment that I sold to make ends meet. And while I have zero interest in being a solo act, I did that with the jewelry. It was lonely. I take comfort in the fact that if a band asked me to join tomorrow, I could comfortably say yes. But until that tomorrow comes, I'm still pretty good at all the other stuff, so at least I did something right. Okay, love you, bye.
That in itself is a miracle, but that's not Tyler's story. According to Tyler, when you go a little bit deeper in the lore, we learn that he had 3 broken ribs from that particular incident. But he also mentioned some other issues later on down the road. Car accident stripped him of the ability to breathe on autopilot, but I haven't seen a breathing machine yet. Can't walk or stand for an hour and a half without a cane, and chronic pain. And although Tyler lost his ability to sing, if that's what you would call it, he managed to shift towards a completely different art form. He became a jeweler and a painter. And I want you all to prepare yourselves for this work of art. Tyler pieces aren't really for brokey.
It is wild how wrong some of y'all are about what I do. And maybe that's because I've been downplaying it for so long. I think it's funny to oversimplify and just say I put beads on a string for a living. But this? Let's remind you who I am today, huh? Piece I'm currently wearing is $575. Took 2 people with months of work. Has a centerpiece sunstone cabochon, hand beaded and back in suede. Got cat's eye, dyed jade, rose quartz, carnelian, and rhodochrosite. I don't know how to say that word. Ties in the back with a ribbon, making it fully adjustable. Not this ribbon, this one's just a tester. It contains 0 metal, so it's safe for people with metal allergies. And I freestyled this one. There's no tutorial for this online, I promise. If there was, I would have had to have been the one who posted it. And the level of skill it would have required to even think of this piece took me 8 years. And it's not the only one. This one costs $475. Does contain small.
I would hate to see what a piece looked like that took you 20, because I was not impressed. We'd all be shocked by the intricacy that you come up with. If that's what you got after 8 years, whew!
Amounts of metal in the beads. Drove me very nearly insane for months because it's such a different shape than what I usually go for. But luckily I followed it up with this one, which is $375, and it's probably one of the best color schemes I've ever gotten to do. You want to know how I know that these pieces are worth their price? Aside from the years of practice and the months of work, aside from the fact that you can't get them anywhere else, this fun fact, this beadwork can't be done by machine. But I actually know they're worth it because the first 3 pieces from the first drop have already sold. Plus they come with cute little matching gift boxes. Who wouldn't want these? But if you want to see some of my less expensive necklaces, you can either click the thing in the thing, or I can show you some tomorrow. See you then. Okay, love you, bye.
Oh my gosh, let's go to the site, because I don't want you to think that we're some haters here, okay? The Mush Trophy Collection. This piece will run you $1,349. This intricate piece right here. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't believe it. This mushroom gift set. It's right here, $84. You want the mushroom with the choker? That's gonna run you $599. See, y'all ain't prepared for these prices. And I know I got some brokies in the chat. I'm going to try to get to y'all. $28 right here for a bracelet. This right here. That came out the gumball machine. This is a close-up right there. Why would I spend that much money on that? Tyler wants y'all to know that he ain't charging y'all enough.
Or so they tell me. Let's break it down. Now, I handle all of my sales one-on-one because I'm not a store. I don't want to be a store. I'm just a person who makes cool stuff. But I'm also very much a people person, and so I just like interacting with people, and when they love my work, and I love my work, it's a fun time. But when it comes to these chokers, like that one, or that one, or that one, or they're falling everywhere. Just assume I have a lot of choker designs. But anyway, I've been selling this choker design for like, 2-3 years now, and I've had so many people tell me I don't charge enough. And keep in mind, I did just raise my prices in January from $35 to $45, and this is usually about 7 hours of work. And considering they are always one of my best sellers, I think they're worth every penny.
And apparently other people agree, because I get a lot of people saying that I should charge more, and technically I should. But I grew up in a family that was always on a money crunch, and so I want at least something that can be affordable.
Sir, I don't know who taught you that lie, that you should charge more. You ain't at that level yet. Maybe they saying if you blow up on TikTok, you could go ahead and add a few zeros to the end. Like, I think that you are misreading the market for your skill set. Somebody lied to you and told you that, probably you. And was like, really? This beaded bracelet right here? Ain't nobody doing that. And you only charging them $28? You need to go ahead and charge $280. This mushroom, do you see the intricacy? $84? Nah, that's too cheap. You need to do $840. How many days did it take for you to do that? Your time is money. I know that's what you told yourself in the mirror. Stop it.
And I do have much bigger, more intricate work that is usually in the $100 to $200 range. Because when I sell stuff like this, it also funds the supplies for the smaller stuff to keep at least something I make affordable. That's also why my commissions are almost always open. Because I think that everyone deserves a chance at incredibly intricate, gorgeous work that I happen to love. This one's mine. This one I made for... that ties in the back with a ribbon so it's fully adjustable and can be worn by literally anyone. And that is almost always hypoallergenic unless you get stuff with very minimal metal. And because I do so many things, all of my projects fund each other. And does that mean I sometimes take a loss? Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, a lot of people love what I do, and I just want to share it with as many people as possible. Plus, I just love people in general. And if they love what I do, they're gonna tell other people about it. And you never know what comes back around. So if you like what I do, feel free to DM me anytime. My orders are basically always open. And if you think I'm undercharging, I do have a tip option on my Venmo so that you can pay
I wouldn't lie to you like that.
more if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm always grateful.
You're not into the jewelry. Tyler also paints. I have to warn you, these pieces are much more expensive. Take your bet. This piece was created in 2022. It's $150,000. To fly and fall, $230,000. Just as it was 2022, $335,000. And to think, ain't nobody bought this artwork yet. Tyler has been called out for appropriation of Native American beading.
I am a beadworker who is not a recognized member of an indigenous tribe or nation, which is actually why I bead the way that I do. It's why I avoid beadwork with fringe. It's why I avoid the tight, repetitive beadwork that is often seen in native work.
I just don't think you have the skills for that, Tyler. If you could, you would. Like this right here, this is nice. I like the beading on this. This I can respect because of the intricate.
It's why I avoid traditionally native motifs like the 4 directions and the bold, opaque color schemes that are often seen in native work. And if I showed you this necklace that was inspired by a couture designer, put it next to something like this and ask you which one was more likely to have been made by a white man, you'd probably say this one. I have a lot of friends who are indigenous beadworkers because we run in the same circles, and I do very much hope that if I ever crossed that line that they would tell me so that I could correct the behavior. But
You wouldn't. You wouldn't correct the behavior. I know you're tight.
I've never claimed to have invented beadwork. This skill, this trade, this craft is ancient, and I only got good at it on accident. Because when I got hit by a car, my hands were the only part of me that I could move without hurting myself. So
This is the individual that said he only had 3 broken ribs. I think you got in an accident, but I think that you're over-exaggerating what happened in the accident for whatever reason.
accidentally got very good at this. Beadwork kept me sane during one of the hardest parts of my life. And even if it wasn't my goal in the beginning, it has become a career that I am distressingly proud of. And calling myself an innovator because I'm pushing the limits of what I know to be possible. Creating things that I've never seen anyone else make, even though I've looked.
You ain't looked that far. That's not innovative enough. I'll tell you what Tyler is doing. Y'all have to be very careful when you start hearing them say innovative. What exactly do you define as innovative? A couple of weeks ago, there is a phrase that was innovative. It was called a cloud bob. And you know what a cloud bob is? This is about to blow y'all minds. Cloud bob. But it was innovative. Vogue came up with it. When they start renaming stuff, calling it innovative, that is the first step towards them appropriate the mess out of your stuff. Amanda, is not that deep, but it is. Because it's a part of their culture. And the only thing that they want is acknowledgement. They don't want you to Christopher Columbus a part of their culture and claim it as your own. Because it's not. It's not innovative. It's not something new. They've already established the framework. They've already established the beating technique. technique. So the heavy work has already been done. And they often teach people how to replicate the styles and why you do it a certain way. And then you go create a Tamu version of it, create another name and sell it to the masses because you lack the skill and ability to produce the intricacies that they've done in their work. That is the problem. So say, hey, I learned this beading style from Native Americans, and this is my interpretation of it. He said, I don't do certain styles. It's not because he doesn't want to. It's because he lacks the ability and the sophistication and know-how. He hasn't learned how to appropriate that part yet. That's it. And when he does, he's going to say, man, this took me 5 years to learn. Isn't it beautiful? And it's below average at best. You have to do better. Just give them credit.
I'm creating from a place of ego or taking credit from people who work just as hard as I have. I do not see other beadworkers as competition, and I never will.
I bet.
Unless they're directly copying me, but that's just rude. I use high-quality glass beads, not plastic. All of my crystal and gemstone beads I buy in person so that I can personally attest to their quality before I buy them. And I make things that I've never seen anyone else make because I like a challenge, and it's just more fun for me. And for the record, my most expensive pieces, like this one right here, there's another artist that's also getting paid for it. I have a friend who beads little cages around cabochons and backs them in suede so that I can use them. And I want to make sure that not only myself, but she as well is properly compensated. I'm not going to send you to her pages right now, because frankly I don't trust a lot of the people watching this. But people can disagree with my prices all day long. You can call me vain or egoic. Frankly, I don't get it. But to say that I'm taking credit away from indigenous beadworkers, or even that I'm just disrespecting them, is deeply wrong. I may not personally speak on indigenous issues very often because, frankly, I think it's not my place. But
they don't want you to speak on their issues, Tyler. I just told you what you need to do. That's all they're asking for is acknowledgement.
I do take every single chance I get to uplift the indigenous people who are speaking on those issues. I'm a beadworker from Oklahoma. The land I grew up on was Choctaw, Chickasaw, Muskogee. And again, beadwork was never my career goal when I started. I just fell into it because it was the only thing I could physically do without hurting myself.
What did you watch to learn how to bead?
And I would never intentionally do anything to dishonor or disgrace or disrespect the beaders who came before me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how else to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay,
Also,
thank you.
the examples of indigenous beadwork that I used came from.
We know. This is a photo of Tyler and Stuart Semple. He's an artist, and Tyler visited his studio in England. And it was in this moment that Tyler knew that Stuart was going to offer him a job. So much so that he created a GoFundMe to raise money to move to England to work at this man's studio, and he ain't even know it.
This great big move that you're going to be doing.
So I'm still waiting on like exact dates and like the fine details of things. Right now I'm just focusing on like actually being able to afford it. But the actual job itself will be in an art studio with a group of just amazing artists who run a nonprofit, and I'll be able to make things and just do all the things that I do for myself just on a larger level. Like, I am, again, a man of many hats. I'm a jack of all trades to the extreme, so I hope I get to do a little bit of everything. But, like, it's people that I'm already friends with. I give them tips here and there because just I want to be a part of it. I want to be involved. I like helping. So actually getting to, like, move over there. It's in Bournemouth, England, which is on the southern coast, right on the ocean, which is something I've always wanted to like live near the ocean. And because I'm from Oklahoma, I've always been landlocked. It's very rude. But they like make paints and like pigments and just artist materials that everyone gets to use. And it's just, I'm overflowing at all times every time I think about it. But his name is Stuart Semple. I wasn't going to say anything, but like whatever. And we've been friends for a few years now. And
you keep hearing the word friend being thrown around, which is rather loose for Stuart because he was only in the room with Tyler for an hour and a half. And unfortunately for him, he made the mistake of responding to a few DMs that Tyler sent. And now they've had this great friendship for over a few years. All in all, these are lies that Tyler is selling to the masses. He wants to be connected to Stuart Semple.
Originally, 2019, I got hit by a car, had to have surgery and everything. And that's kind of what got me into like actual art because it was right before the pandemic hit. So I had to restructure a lot. And when I was waking up from the surgery, I ended up sending a message to Stuart, like big long DM about how much I adored his work and how much just I just adored him. And because I was still under the effects of anesthesia, my phone was not on airplane mode, it actually sent. And I wake up later, no longer under the effects of anesthesia, and realize he has responded to a text I have no memory of sending. And so a couple years go by, we talk here and there, whatever. And then last year, for my birthday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to England. I'm going to take a vacation. And because I was working as like a manager in a steakhouse, I had like the money to do it. But I was going to stay a lot longer. And so I was like, you know what? What's the best thing that could happen? And so I find his, at the time, scheduling director's email, and I'm like, hi, this is me. This is who I am. Don't know if you know. Can I maybe come say hi? And craziest thing happened. They say yes. And so I am like in a country I've never been to, like 8,000 miles from where I was born, alone, just doing my own thing. And I get to spend a day in the studio with this artist that I've looked up to since I was like 13 years old. And just the second I walk into the studio, I'm like, this is where I need to be. This is where I want to live.
Yeah, just because you want to do something doesn't mean that it's going to become a reality. And you have to understand social cues and understand the word no, and not build up fairy tales to sell to other people to make it seem like this is actually your reality when it is not.
I did not want to leave. And just like the people who work there and just like the energy and just the place where it is, I'm like, I am in love. I'm never going to stop thinking about this ever. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember on like the train back to my Airbnb, I like messaged Stuart and I was like, thank you so much for this. This was amazing. And he replies back, of course, you're one of us. And I think that just like cemented everything together, because I was not going to stop until I was able to be there. And so to finally be able to bring this to a reality is just, I am over the moon. I am in the stars somewhere. I don't even know, but like before I had the confirmation, I was doing the same amount of work, but just spinning my wheels because I didn't have anything to work towards. And so now that I have this goal, I feel like I finally got traction again, and it's just taken off. Like I think I'm at almost $2,000 saved up. And like I've got the goal at like 13,000, so I'm still a ways off. But I am just hopeful and positive, and just so obsessed with everything that could become of this.
And obsessed is absolutely the word, because not only is he telling people this in interviews, he's ranting about it on his social media platforms.
Listen up, please. Oh my, I'm trying to move to England. There's a job waiting for me. It's something that I specialize in, and it'll give me enough free time to also focus on my own work and building my own name. And I'm super excited. So it's gonna be with my friends, and it's awesome. And right now, I'm actually incredibly lucky because I have friends in England who offered me a job doing things that I love with people that I love. And now I have an incredible job working with amazing people in England waiting for me. And I just have to
just love asking for help on the internet. Because like I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job. And the only way to do that is to pay to get.
He's asking for help, and he starts up a GoFundMe. Help a disabled trans guy escape Texas. Hi friends, my name is Tyler, and I'm a disabled transgender artist from Oklahoma, currently stuck in Texas. I've been given an opportunity to move to England and further my art career, and considering everything that's currently working against my safety here, I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. I don't want to live in exhaustion and fear for the rest of whatever life I have left, and I'm hoping that this isn't too much to ask for. It is. You could have went ahead and got you a car and moved up out of Texas. It would have probably took you a day or a half or so, but you could have got up out of there. You could have went back to Oklahoma with your family, so you could be surrounded by support. But no, you want to go across seas. So if anyone is at all willing and able, I would greatly appreciate any cent of support that could possibly help. I know I got a friend that could help you. Their name is Penny Fairy. and they often help out beggars on the internet that need their support. You say any cent, they'll give you a cent, maybe even 3, but they'll make sure you have it. This fundraiser will help with bills, medication, and updated documents, moving fees, plane tickets, and finding housing once I'm able to move. This opportunity means the world to me, and I'm hoping that once I'm stable enough, I'll be able to help others as well. May we all be safe as we possibly can be. I love you all, and I hope we all get to see the other side of this decade in better light. Thank you. Tyler, I think that you should give these people their money back because you started this GoFundMe under false pretenses. No, you did not have a job offer waiting for you in England. And it's absolutely ridiculous, but if y'all want to be out there pushing your money forward, so be it. This individual started this GoFundMe in 2022. It is 2026, so 4 years ago, and at $16,233 with the goal being $22K. You donate to this GoFundMe at your own risk, and eventually it comes out that he was deceived. And so he wanted to make sure he told Stuart Semple to go.
Stuart Semple. I have been so incredibly pissed off with the way this man f***ed me over for over a year, and I don't like being angry, and I want to leave all these ass feelings in 2024. So if y'all want to be angry with me, let's be angry. I traveled 8,000 miles to spend a day in the Culture Hustle studio, completely fell in love with it while doing what was actually free labor now that I think about it. And then he starts looking for a new assistant, and I'm told to apply, so I do. And then when I don't get that job, honestly, really glad I didn't, I'm not made to be someone else's assistant. So I ask him, point blank, hey, can I have a different job in the studio and I'll just move to England? I'll raise the funds myself. I've got to be out by this date. Could it happen? And he said yes. So what do?
He never said yes. You are not the victim in this situation. That man did not set you up for failure. That man did not force you to travel your behind over there. You did that under your own free will. He did not have a job listing posted. He wasn't looking for no assistant. You just created a narrative and you fell in love with the place, so you assumed that they fell in love with you and wanted you up in their space, and the reality is they did not. He wanted me to be his assistant for what? You according to you, you can't breathe on autopilot. You can't stand for more than an hour and a half without a cane, so you do not meet the physical requirements.
Put my career on hold, sell basically almost everything else I own, start turning down opportunities thinking I'm going to be in a different country when they happen.
Why would you turn down opportunities when you were brokey? You needed the money. That's not his fault. That was a decision that you made. Why would you sell your equipment when you needed to save up to go over there to get the opportunity that you saw? What you thought you was gonna go over there with broke? England don't want nobody ain't got no money coming over there. They don't want to provide you with welfare. They want you to stay your behind at home. You're delusional.
Work because I go all in or nothing. And what does he do? Ghosts me. And after months of people who already work for him telling him he needs to talk to me, months where I was getting him opportunities with even bigger artists, because in my head we were friends. What the And
keyword in your head, not in his head.
While I'm being actively ghosted by this man, he posts on his Instagram story, replying to someone asking for a job, telling them to apply. But you can't answer me? And eventually I get...
Because you a stalker. Keyword, when you apply for the job, that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get it. You've been stalking this man. And I don't think that you're picking up on social cues that somebody don't want nothing to do with you. Because they're your friend in your head. When you just need to live in reality of what it is. The answer was no.
So f***ing fed up and out of my mind that I have to go to his assistant and be like, hey, can you just tell me if this is happening or not? And she was like, no, I'm so sorry.
It's not.
We hope you have a good life. And I'm like, off, okay. His assistant was actually wonderful. I didn't mean that towards her. I'm very grateful. Because this grown man couldn't put his big boy pants on and tell me no, I wound up almost homeless and had to live with my mom and her husband, who doesn't like me very much.
You ain't go broke because of Stuart. You went broke because of your bad decisions and you a horrible business person. Ain't nobody buying that jewelry for $575, $375, $1,345. They not buying it. So you know what that means. Man, you need to get a job. You said you lost your ability to sing for 5 years, but even your singing ability is questionable. And I don't think you was making no money during that path either. So live in reality and understand that everything that occurred, that don't have nothing to do with Stuart. It had to do with your decision making. And the best possible thing for you at that particular moment may have been for you to move home and build your business while you there as well as work. I turned down opportunities. Wasn't no opportunities for him to turn down. The only opportunities that existed was in his brain.
8,000 miles away. I didn't have another lease lined up. Now, here I am over a year later, still pissed off and like one bad day away from homelessness again.
Explain to me, in brokey terminology, lease running out, trying to crowdfund money to move 8,000 miles away, no job. How exactly was that gonna work for you? It wasn't, because you did not have the funds to fund your ambition. So that meant that you needed to re-up your lease until you were able to save up enough money to go pursue your dream in England. And you had to make sure for certain that he was going to hire you. And even if he hired you, you need to understand how much he was going to pay you. Was it going to be a livable wage? Probably not, because you were going to start at the bottom of the totem pole. And so you were going to be over there struggling, and you have all of these other needs that you have going on, like your medical.
Since I'm just letting myself be angry here, my work is better than his. I don't have other people making things behind the scenes that I can claim as my own.
This piece is completely unfinished, and you can already tell it's gonna be amazing.
Definitely don't get me started on the pieces that are finished. I'm an amazing painter, and I'm tired of pretending that I'm not. I completely free-handed this. Pun absolutely intended. And did I mention they're all 4 feet tall? And don't even get me started on my beaded jewelry. Name one person who was making stuff like this.
I don't want to, because if it's so amazing, why you ain't sold it yet? That means that it's not as amazing as you think it is. And I keep telling you, your beading work leaves much to be desired for. You need to stop lying to yourself. And I think that you need to go put some more time into your craft and stop living in this delusion that no one else is out there doing it like you, because they're actually doing it better than you. And that's the problem. I've never seen any of Stuart Semple's work, because I didn't even know who the heck he was before this video. Oh, he's known for making the pinkest pink. And he's a British contemporary artist and activist renowned for his vibrant pop influenced paintings, massive public installations like Happy Cloud, and activism focused on democratizing art material. So he's a big thing. And the highest piece of artwork he's ever sold was $13,863. And I could see why Tyler has a problem with this, because he sells his art for $100,000. So how dare Stuart Semple say something crazy to him? Yeah, he a better painter than you. I wouldn't buy this, but I could see where he put some work in. I think that this would have been a better place for you to go and learn touching the artwork style. Not yet. You need to go be an apprentice and go be up under an artist to expand your mind, or maybe even art school will work for you, Tyler. But that would require you humbling yourself, and I don't think you want to do that, because that would be too much like right.
You can't. I've tried. I've looked. Instead of being able to focus on and celebrate how fantastic everything I make is, I get to lay awake at night and worry myself sick about the fact that I can't pay my bills because someone promised me something and didn't deliver. And the part of
you ain't gotta do that. I don't know if you qualify for SSI, because it seemed like you know your little touch. Go get a job. It's hard out here being an entrepreneur. It happens to people every single day. And sometimes you gotta humble yourself and go be about that life so you can survive.
me that wants to be nice and give the benefit of the doubt is like, maybe part of that's on me for believing something was going to happen when they said it was going to happen, because they said it was going to happen and didn't tell me it wasn't going to happen. But then I realized how ridiculous that is. So instead,
let's be fair. Okay, it's 2022 when you started this. Did you think that he was gonna hold that job for you until 2026? You ain't even reached your goal this year. You're 74% away. How much money do you have saved up? Not enough for you to move, right? If you want to be an artist, apply for art studios to see if you can work there. Go to art school. Even if you want to do that, take classes at your local community college that'll help you get better at sculpting, painting, whatever it is that you want to help you advance yourself in your career. That's not something that you want to do. You want to have a woe is me attitude, and that's just not what it is. You literally said this piece took me 8 years, and that piece was still below average in my eyes. You have to do better. There are a lot of people that's probably calling Stuart Semple trying to get a job with him, and I know that's hard for you to believe.
I'm gonna let myself be angry because that's really up, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg. Because I still have friends who work for him. I still have friends who have worked for him, and they have similar stories. If I'm going to be angry on their behalf, I need to be able to be angry on my behalf. So you know what? I'm tired. I'm angry, and I deserve better. And in 2025, I'm going to get it. Because I, Tyler Salona, am Tyler Catastrophe. And that's way cooler even without the alliteration. Anyway, feel free to go check out all the other cool things I make. There's a lot of them. I'm going to go eat some grapes or something.
A few people on here are saying that this isn't actually my TikTok account and it's some sort of fan thing. It is me. I just don't really use it. But hi, it's the real thing. It is me.
Can you confirm if he's actually friends with those who work in your studio like he claimed? He said he was close with both you and everyone who works there. Close is an overstatement. He sent a lot of messages to a lot of the crew, and I know everyone was lovely to him. I think one of the crew was in touch with him a bit more. He may have felt we were friends, but perhaps to us it was a little less than that. So the answer is no. They weren't friends. I figured. Just wondering, as he claimed he has been close to you personally and your crew for years before the job offer happened, which didn't seem to add up. Obviously, thank you for answering it. I really appreciate it. We were pretty hospitable when he passed through. He spent about half an hour with me, but I have no one to talk to about this. I swear it was an unpaid internship at best. It wasn't even that. He asked me for a job, and I was trying to be nice and said if he ever made it back to England, we could talk about it. He spent less than half an hour with me. He was really lovely and I wish well, but sadly, there was never a job offer. Certainly nothing that should have made him sell all his belongings and plan to move halfway across the world. I hope he is okay. And unfortunately, Tyler is trying to damage other people's brands by associating himself with them when they were just being kind to him. Tyler also has a huge crush, and unfortunately for Wilbur, Tyler got to meet him. And it was in this moment that Tyler knew that this was the love of his life, even though Wilbur didn't even know it. Oh, don't they look so cute? Let's get into the
I have a lot of
deception.
names. I've gone by Will, Wilbur, William, and people often say to me like, "Oh, what do you want me to call you?" And it's just me saying, "Call me what you like."
Hello, my name is Tyler Catastrophe, Tyler Salona, T.A. Soul. I've got a lot of names, honestly. I just do things.
If he asked me out, I would say yes. I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019, when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video, and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen. Which is really inconvenient for me, because I am very much a one soul at a time kind of person, so once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever. And at the time, I had just broken off a terrible engagement to a guy who didn't even like me. And since then, I have only briefly dated one other person, who was wonderful, but it didn't work out. And so in all of that time, regardless of how many people have tried and been interested in me, I have not been able to find the interest for any single one of them. Because I have a crush on a guy I have interacted with once. And I don't even officially know his sexuality. That's a whole other thing. And I have tried. I have tried so hard to move on from this, to let it go, because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory. But in like the 7 minutes...
You failed. It's already crossed over into parasocial territory. Anytime that you break it up with people because you can't be with the man that you want in your head, lets you know that you need to go ahead and seek help. Because that man met you one time, he was just doing his job. And you was over there falling in love with him over and over again. He probably don't even know you exist. You in your Alicia Keys phase, huh? You don't know my name?
It's that we spoke to each other. One, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. And anyone who knows me and has ever met me knows that I don't get nervous about people. What the hell was that? Three, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore. And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing. But how dare you pull my spark back out from underneath the ashes I spent years burying it under because it hurt too much to think about. In like 2 sentences. It's rude. And 4, he failed to take a selfie with me because he was operating on like iPhone settings and I have an Android, and I accidentally called him adorable, and immediately wanted to swallow my tongue. Because you don't flirt with people when they're working. That's rude. I paid to... I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You ain't been taking your pills. If you was taking your pills, you wouldn't be acting like this. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. That would have been too much like right. You don't flirt with people when they're working. I mean, that's the only opportunity you gonna get to flirt with them. You be leaving comments under his IG, but they don't be going in your favor. So you might as well gorilla say, I heard shoot is shoot. Duke Dennis, what's up with you? You should have just went ahead and dropped that line. I heard shoot is shoot. Wilbur, what's up with you?
My point is, it's a whole thing that I would like to no longer have to deal with. And all of this is made worse because I have been recognized at every single concert I've been to in the past year and a half, including 2 of his. And I've been on the Lovejoy Nation podcast twice. So no matter how many times I try to sweep this under the rug and move on with my life, there's always that little thing in the back of my head saying, there's a non-zero chance. Oh my god. So basically, the way I see it, I finally say, I make this video, I say it all out loud to the ether that is the internet. Worst case scenario, he sees it, he says, hey, not for me. I move on with my life, it's fine. I'm an adult, who cares? I'll take a no over uncertainty any day of the week.
I'll just go ahead and tell you ahead of time, it's a no. And you still ain't gonna accept that.
Neutral option, nothing happens. Oh well, I guess. Best case scenario... You know? Because honestly, it doesn't matter what I'm doing any day ever for the rest of my life. If he was like, hey, do you want to get dinner or something? I'd say yes. Obviously, I'm delusional. It's fine. But at this point, I'm just so over the not doing anything about the things that I want. You know? What's up with that? No one gets anywhere that way. So, I've said it out loud. What else is there to do at 9 p.m. on a... Is it Friday? I think it's...
Read a book, get a journal, write it down. Don't share it with the world. You probably be one of those people like, William Soot, will you marry me? Bloody hell, no.
Anyway, it is what it is.
Tyler continues to hit on William. Wilbur was accused of DV. X claimed that he was physically, emotionally, and financially abusive. And although Tyler, who claims to have been violated a couple of times, still came to Wilbur's defense after hearing the allegation and properly going through the facts. He came to a conclusion, and the conclusion was that Wilbur was still gonna be his main
version of I'll Look Good When I'm Sober, and I am over the moon. Great band, it's a great song, and I've been waiting for so long. Bars! Before the comments start rolling in, I am fully aware of the situation. I've already made my opinion on that very clear. Not because I dismissed it or didn't take it seriously, but because I did take it seriously, and I formed an opinion on it. Anyway, I'm the kind of person who, when I see people being hated on in a way that I think is unfair, I will make a point to leave positive comments whenever possible. I do it because I want to, because it's fun for me, because I enjoy being a positivity in a pool of... Yuck.
Lies.
Can I be honest now? I can't stand Shubble. Like in general, not a fan. If Shelby Shubble has no haters, assume I never exist, because I'll still be hating from the grave. Dang, you sending hate from hell? That's crazy word. Oh my gosh. What did Shelby do to you besides sleep with your man in your head? That's the only, I mean, she was with him in real life. You was with him in your delusion. You need to pump your brakes. It's not her fault that Wilbur decided to be up in there biting on her, leaving bruises. And then when she was like, hey, I don't feel comfortable about this, he was showing it off to people. That's not her fault. Your man got a biting kink. You might like that though. And when people called out Tyler for dismissing Shovel's claims, he got offended.
I know the second I say that word, a lot of people are going to tune me out, but I'm asking you so nicely to keep listening. Okay. Believe victims, believe survivors. However, as a victim myself, as a survivor myself, what we should be saying when we say those words is believe victims, believe survivors first. Because the unfortunate truth is that just because you would never lie about something so important does not mean that no one would. Because blindly believing people like me can still be a bad thing. I don't believe you either. Just due to some of the other delusions that you felt to the internet. But go off. I would never lie about that sort of thing. But I still know people who have admitted to making false allegations, who have bragged about making false allegations. I still have known people who said that they would if they knew that it would benefit them. And every single time I have been assaulted, every single time I have been abused, every single time that I have been in a situation where I needed someone to believe me, a vast majority of the people in my life chose not to. I know how it feels to not be believed. So if someone tells me that they have been through a similar situation to my own, I will always believe them first. But if it comes to a point where I cannot feel comfortable believing them, that is saying a lot. And I definitely do not...
It don't say a lot. I've seen the delusions that you've built up in your head and these parasocial relationships that you've established. I think that your judgment leaves a lot to be desired for. And so I would have problems trusting your judgment. I think that you have to weigh what's out there. I will always believe a child first. And if it comes out that they're not telling the truth, then that's something that you would have to deal with down the line. Always say no means no. And I feel like if you are a victim, then you should go get the help that you need and whatever that may look like. Not everybody is going to be vocal. Doesn't mean that said situation doesn't happen to them. That when it comes to serious situations, you do not lie about stuff like that and you do not play about it. Because once your reputation is ruined in that particular area, no one's going to believe you, even if something did happen to you. Women, men, children, elderly people, they deserve to be heard. But if they're lying, they deserve to be shamed.
I'll make that decision lightly, ever. It does not matter how much I like the accused, it does not matter how attractive they are, it does not matter how successful or talented they are. I will always believe the alleged victim first. I loved All Time Low as a kid. I was in Onision forums for years. And when I heard about things they were doing behind the scenes, it did not matter how much I liked them. I was done. I was 100% on Amber Heard's side until I was given too many reasons not to be. But that is...
Was it the fact that she boo-booed on them sheets? Oh, that was a nasty bop. Goodness gracious.
Still not a decision that I made lightly. And I know that for every person who takes the time to understand what I'm saying, there's another one that won't. But I know that I personally have to use discernment in order to feel comfortable with the decisions I make. And even if I cannot personally feel comfortable trusting someone at their word, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. My decisions are made up of my experiences, just as yours are made up of yours. And at the end of the day, there are hundreds, if not thousands of victims and survivors that I believe wholeheartedly. And there are genuinely only 3 that I know of that I cannot feel comfortable believing. And if not feeling comfortable believing those 3 and everything they say makes people think that I am a horrible person, there's nothing I can do about that. But if there is one thing I can say, but I will never compromise my own moral compass just to make someone else feel better. Because my moral compass was forged in a fire that I hope no one else has to go through.
Yeah,
So please, if you hear nothing else from this video, believe victims, believe survivors first. But please keep in mind that there are people who lie about that sort of thing, and it does irreparable harm to those of us that don't. And personally, I don't want to forgive the people who do.
I do not trust you. Go up. Tyler also credits Lovejoy with helping him find his voice again. Because of that, we have the opportunity to hear Tyler vocals after being shut down for 5 years.
Do you know I am crazy enough to ask? So hi, Lovejoy. Do you want a second vocalist? My name is Tyler Salona. I'm 26 years old. I live in Texas, but I'm trying to move to England anyway. I'm a massive extrovert. I've been performing since I was 10, and in 2019, I was actually a semi-professional vocalist, but then had to spend almost 5 years getting my voice back after losing it completely because someone hit me with their car. Through the sheer force of audacious determination, I now have my voice back and my vocal stamina, which basically means that now that I can go back to music, not doing so makes everything else feel unfulfilling and sad. I figured I might as well shoot my shot. And I also play the trumpet, which is probably helpful. Anyway, here's Portrait of a Blank Slate. The whole thing. I hope you like it. I mean, you probably like it already, let's be honest. It is your song, but I also hope you like the parts that I'm gonna do. The singing part. You know.
The vocals that got shut down for 5 years and you said you came back better, I would hate to hear them before the accident because this is subpar. I blame Taylor Swift for this. I blame y'all. If y'all hadn't pushed Taylor up there, we wouldn't have been dealing with it. There is an absolute chance for you because if Taylor can shake it off and get up very mid vocals, you can too. I don't think it's gonna work in your favor though, cause like she's the all-American white girl, and I just don't think that there's extra room for you to fit into that space. Like you're kind of like you like to neglect the version of her. Yeah, it's a no. And to think the car almost took this away. Seems like everything got out of hand and now Tyler is apologizing. And it's only fair that we hear it through.
Probably going to be the full 10 minutes because doing a part 2 feels really scummy. But if you could please bear with me and stay to the end, I have a lot to say and there's a lot you need to know and apologies that need to be made. And I need to just lay it all out on the table all at once. Because for the past month and a half, almost 2 months now, has been a non-stop panic for me. Because when this all started, and it was just people misinterpreting a video about a crush on a guy in a band, assuming a lot of things that were not true, or just straight up calling me cringe and ugly, a lot of the advice I was getting was just to keep posting confidently and show them they're not getting to you, and The internet has a short attention span, and I followed that advice. And when the death threats started, I think we all greatly underestimated just how far some people were going to go in order to hurt me and the people I care about. My family, my friends, anyone and everyone who has ever interacted with or supported me in any way. And by the time I realized what was happening, it was every second of every day, and I didn't know what to do. And in trying to put out any fire I could reach, I made a lot more mistakes, and every time I thought it was going to be okay, something else happened. And because I have a lot of commitments keeping me online, the GoFundMe orders I need to finish,
The
I could not
GoFundMe
step
ain't
away.
keeping you online. I've been told you to get them folks their money back because you was out here scamming and got caught up. You ain't never had no job offer. You just got caught up in the lies you told. They done came back to bite. Get your behind offline and go get a job.
I wound up in this awful spiral, barely eating, barely sleeping.
Where?
So I
You
completely
look refreshed to me.
checked out for a day or two, trying to just let myself catch up. And if you don't mind, I would like very much to try again. So, firstly, I do not refer to myself as Two-Spirit. I have mistakenly done so in the past, in 2023, I think, in a video I honestly thought I deleted, because I realized right after I posted the video that... And when I made a more recent video about the differences between my own beadwork and the beadwork done by other native and indigenous peoples around me, ended up unearthing that old video that I had already self-corrected and again thought I had deleted. With everything else going on, I panicked. I ended up making another video that I did not think through. The words that I ended up saying were entirely wrong, and my exhaustion and overwhelm in the moment does not excuse it.
He lying, and he knew that he didn't delete that video. He do refer to himself as Two-Spirit. Yes, he have been mooching off of Native American culture. Is he sorry? No, because he is a cop. Nah. Appropriate y'all stuff. Y'all just might as well get prepared and say that it's innovative. No one else is doing this. You right. Ain't nobody doing that mediocre crap. Go ahead.
I promise I am just as upset with myself as anyone else was, and I have been corrected. But I knew that I could not address it until I had dealt with more of the mental stuff. I promise the delay was not me trying to avoid accountability, it was just me trying to avoid another mistake. I have never meant any disrespect to the Native and Indigenous communities. I just picked all the wrong words, and I am so fucking sorry. My second point, when it comes to the Wilbur and Shovel situation, firstly, please understand that there is really no good way to say any of what needs to be said. Honestly, I probably should have just never commented on any of it at all. But when I posted that video 2.5 years ago, there was still a lot of confusion, and the only reason I posted that video was because there were multiple people asking me my opinion. And at the time, there was a lot of harm being done just from the communities and fandoms surrounding this. And I stayed away from anything other than Shelby's statement, because with anything else, I just felt that there wasn't enough information and a lot of conflicting information that I didn't fully understand and didn't want to speak on because I didn't
And because you
understand it.
did not care. And it happens. Okay? Like, bro, you don't think I'm gonna be at that R&B tour? I got one up there that was accused of spreading herpes. Got another one up there accused of throwing paws. Well, I ain't even accused. That be out here throwing paws. Okay? Am I gonna be there? Yeah, I am. I ain't paying no $1,000 to go take no photo, but I'm gonna be there. Same way you gonna be at that Wilbur video or whatever the case may be. It is what it is, man. You don't like Shelby because you in love with Wilbur. That's your man in your head. You don't care that he was up in there biting on her. You like, hey, Wilbur, you can come bite on me anytime. She wasn't prepared for the smoke. I am. That's what you was up in there saying. And it is what it is. Just stand on business. You ain't sorry.
Statement as an admission of guilt, when to me it did seem genuine, and like he honestly didn't understand the extent of the harm he had done and was doing therapy and stuff to be better in the future. I felt very strongly about the way it was being treated from an outside perspective, and I saw a lot of uninvolved people getting hurt. And while my intention with that video was to reduce harm, I wound up letting my own perspective and interpretation kind of take over the video. Things that got left out, things that didn't need to be left in, things that should have been said very differently, and honestly, I should have just left it alone.
The biggest thing about this is this. How would you feel if the person that you say violated you went to therapy. You wouldn't care because you already know what type of harm that person caused you. Some people will forgive them and move on with their life. Some of y'all can become friends. Other people is just like, hey, therapy is not going to help this individual. From based on what I understand about the Wilbur situation, he was biting on her, which he shouldn't have been doing. And I applaud her for leaving the situation because that's always the most important thing. And sharing your story after you've gotten out of that situation. And she moved forward with her life. But the fact that he was up in there biting on that woman is completely unacceptable. When somebody tells you something makes them feel uncomfortable, you should stop doing it.
A lot of the people I was dealing with at the time were people who I thought were missing the point, not realizing just how badly I had missed my own point. I wound up getting really unnecessarily frustrated and wound up just really badly doubling down over time, which just made everything so much worse. And while part of me wants to clear up several more things, every time I try, it just keeps sounding like justifications. And at this point, I think I just need to bow out, admit that I went about things the wrong way, and wound up investing myself in something that was none of my business. I promise I have learned from this, I will continue learning from this, and I will refrain from inserting myself into things like this in the future. Because even if my intention was to reduce harm, clearly, I missed the mark, and I am sorry. I will do better. And third, in regards to Stuart Semple and Culture Hustle, there is a lot I want to say, and I'm not entirely sure how to say it. But first, let me just start out by saying that I am a very intense, optimistic, positive, happy person, and I have a tendency to take very bold steps with my career that a lot of people wouldn't. And while a lot of things are much more obvious in hindsight, and present-day me definitely would have taken silence as a much more direct answer, but at the time I was very excited. And because I knew there were multiple things keeping him from responding, his account was banned from DMs for a couple weeks, he had launches and events and other things keeping him. I assumed he was busy, I assumed he wasn't getting the messages, or even that he just wasn't seeing them. And so I made a bunch of preparations because I wanted to be ready.
He did get back with you and the answer was no then, just like it's no now. You owe him an apology. You cussed the man out. You was telling people that you was going out there to work with him and he ain't tell you nothing like that. And you need to refund them people their money.
I worked really hard to be prepared because I really wanted it to happen. But as time passed and it became more and more clear that he just wasn't going to talk to me about it anymore, and I ended up having to talk to other people in the studio just to try and understand what was going on, I felt really hurt and really stupid. And I did not talk about it for a long time, except in private conversations to people who were directly involved, because I did not want to blame him. I have looked up to Stuart for over half my life. Meeting him was amazing. Just being in the studio and having any opportunity at all was an honor for me. And eventually all of those hurt feelings and confusion turned really angry and bitter. And because anger is something I tend to avoid, because I really don't like being angry, I wound up venting on the internet, thinking I would just delete the videos in a week after I'd moved on. Clearly, that did not happen. And I wound up making a long-term problem out of very short-term feelings. And while I have done a lot of personal healing, and I'm not as angry as I used to be, and even on the days where I do end up angry again, it's definitely just at myself.
The anger you felt towards Stuart is because Stuart responded to the questions that fans had, and it exposed Tyler as a liar, and he did not like that. So of course that made you angry because it went against the delusion that you had built up in your head. It's one thing for you to keep your delusion to yourself and say, oh, I'm doing this, that, and the other, but it's another thing when you have people supporting that delusion and they're sending you a lot of money under the pretenses that you're moving to England and you have this job. You aligning yourself with his brand and making it seem like he was a bad person for not responding to you. And the reality is I wouldn't have responded to you either. In fact, I would have blocked you. Because at that particular point, you have become obsessive. You were finally following people that followed him in hopes that everything would work out for you. But it didn't. And that's okay. There are artists here in the United States that's outside of Texas. If you don't feel comfortable there, you can move to another state and you can hopefully get you a internship with them and work under them. So you can learn if that's what you're really serious about. Where there's a will, there's a way. But I don't think you really have the will to be successful in that industry.
I wound up blaming Stuart for a lot of things that were entirely on me.
And the consequences of that have all happened at the worst possible time. And now it's a lot bigger than any of it should have been. And I don't know how to properly apologize for it. But at the end of the day, it is on me, and I am sorry. And if I could go back and fix it, I 100% would. But it was a lesson learned, and sometimes that's all you get. But in general, with everything else going on right now, I promise that all of it is just mistakes and misunderstandings that are all coming up at once at a rate that is too fast for me to process. And in trying to protect people that did not deserve to be feeling the consequences of my actions, I wound up abandoning myself, putting on a brave face, hoping that pretending it wasn't affecting me would mean that it didn't, and just really fucking missed the mark. Because the truth is, I did not handle any of this well. Not mentally, not emotionally, definitely not publicly. And in trying to avoid more damage, I wound up avoiding accountability. And I am sincerely sorry that I did not realize that sooner. So, to everyone who's been just trying to hold me accountable, thank you. With everything else that was happening, most of the very valid criticisms got buried, and it all just got very away from me very quickly. So again, thank you. And while I know that there's really no one doing any of this, my platforms are usually a pretty positive place. It's always just been a bunch of artists supporting each other. And while I am gonna step away for a few days to just be with my family and sort out some more personal things, hopefully, eventually, it can be that again. But for now, thank you again. And I promise I will always be the person who is open to learning and doing better in the future. And I am incredibly sorry that I allowed myself to lose sight of that. I hope that life is kind to you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know about the love you part, but I think that it's good that you're stepping away. Refund those people their money. Start with that. That's what the statement should have started with. I refunded those people their money. And I apologize for scamming. But that would have been too much like right. As always, remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Stay blessed.